Today, I'm excited for this episode. I'm excited for this episode. This is something that I've been wanting to express for some time, and I guess have the ability to articulate it because it's something I've worked on for myself. And it's very much based on this episode how to utilize masculine and feminine energy in business so that you can avoid burnout. And I think this is so important. So many, because I predominantly work with female coaches, practitioners, and therapists who are in business. Okay, that's predominantly, it's 99% female. And a lot of what I see holding women back in business is a fear of burnout because you've been burnt out before. And I think that what I've come to understand is what is the cause of burnout and how can we avoid it? And learning about masculine and feminine energy, understanding it, being able to apply it to your life and to your business can be one of the most powerful shifts that you can make. Uh, and especially, like I said, if you have a history of or tendency to get yourself into that, burnt out stage or feeling resentment that your needs aren't being met. And, you might even find that you like to control things. Okay. So you like to have everything in control because, if everything just is done the way it should be done, then everything will just work out. Right. And it's just everyone just do it the way I do it. Right? I'll just do it myself. Okay. This is for you. Hey there, fabulous listeners of the Coaching Circle. It's Toni Everard, your go to NLP Master Trainer and Business Mindset Coach. Elevate yourself to new heights by joining the Coaching Circle Insiders, a premium subscription membership tailored for coaches and wellbeing practitioners at an incredibly affordable price. Inside, gain exclusive access to a supportive community, valuable resources, and expert guidance on mastering your coaching, communication, and business mindset skills. Let's get close and personal with weekly training and live Q&A to get all your questions answered. Sign up now by clicking the link in the show notes, and I'll see you on the inside. And if you're like me, in the past, you may have also settled for less than you deserve in your personal relationships, whether that's your friendships or your intimate relationship. You might even relate to being the child, or, well, especially the daughter, that fixes everything for everyone, organizes everything, looks after your aging parents, or looks out for your siblings. You might also feel like that you're very resilient, but to a point, right? And you're known as the person who just gets shit done, right? Everyone can rely on you. You might even think that it's easier to just do it all yourself, right? And no one else will do it as well as you do. Phew, it's a big job, right? It's a big job being that person. It's a big load to carry, but you might even be proud of what you achieve. You might even be proud of how needed you are and how much everyone says that you're this person that just gets it done, that everyone can rely on. But here's the question. Are you also feeling tired and like you would just like someone else to be in charge for a change? Right? Someone who you can rely on. Someone else. You want somebody else who you can rely on. Right? Somebody else to make decisions and see to it that things get done. Someone else to be holding all of that, stuff in their heads, like where we have to go, what has to be paid, what's coming up, the cleaner, the gardener, the, finances, all of the stuff, the holiday arrangements, the looking after the pets, looking after the kids, looking after everything. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just put that stuff down? If you could just reduce that mental load and someone else just could make decisions? Someone else can just make it their responsibility that stuff gets done. If you're nodding along to this and going, oh my God, yes, I would like some of that. Well, I've got some insights for you in this episode that will flip your world and give you the freedom to relax. And look, before you start telling me, yeah, but it's all right for you because, well, I don't have a partner, or I don't, my kids are little, or da da da, whatever it might be, just hold up. Just hold up there, right? Because that's your mind trying to prove why you got to keep doing it. Because often underneath all of this, right, there's fear. There's fear that if I'm not the one getting it done, if people don't need me, well, will I get abandoned? If I'm not the one who's keeping everything together, will people just like reject me? Will they get annoyed with me? Will they think that I'm being selfish? Right? There can be all of these other fears that go on underneath, not just will it get done, but underneath there can be this stuff about, well, what will my value be if I'm not there doing everything for everybody? Right? Will other people get upset at me? And then I'll be having to deal with their upset, and I've got enough on my plate not to have to deal with their upset. There's layers upon layers of this stuff, right? And this is why it's really important to do the mindset work and to release all that old emotional baggage. I talk about this all the time. There's really powerful tools, like I use NLP and timeline therapy. Release all those old negative emotions, get rid of the limiting beliefs and all that kind of stuff. It's very important. But there's something else that's really important. And if you can relate to everything that I've just been talking about, chances are you haven't grown up with healthy role models of masculine or feminine energy. Okay, so your parents or, key caregivers may have been in their wounded masculine or wounded feminine. And this is quite common because you don't generally get two people that are, well, say you don't generally get one parent who's very healthy in their masculine or natural masculine or feminine, and then there's one that's very unhealthy because they're not a match, right? Someone who's in their very healthy masculine energy will be attracted to someone in their very healthy feminine energy. Someone who's in their very healthy feminine energy will be attracted to someone in their very healthy masculine energy. So chances are most people who have got some wounded masculine or wounded feminine will partner up with someone else who's got the matching wounded feminine or masculine. And it's very, very normal, right? It's highly probable that you've had this kind of experience. Now, for me personally, even though I grew up in a male dominated environment and I've always got along and worked well with men. So, when I was very young, my parents separated and I lived with my dad and my brother. My dad was a panel beater. I was always around men, right? And I was treated well by men in a way that I was always included. I grew up believing I could do whatever I wanted to do. There was no, I can't do this because I'm a female. However, there was very wounded masculine energy in the sense of I didn't have I guess, a safe container to express myself emotionally. Okay, so in my growing up, my dad was more in his wounded masculine. The focus was more on his emotions, right? The focus was more around his emotions. And so he didn't, although he was, great dad in a lot of ways, he didn't provide that safe space for me emotionally. So I became the fixer. I became the good girl. I became the people pleaser. My attention was always focused on the people around me, making sure my dad was happy, making sure I didn't upset my dad, making sure that, everyone was looked after because I was lacking that strong, healthy, masculine role model in my life that ideally would be there to make me feel like I was safe and that everything was okay and that my emotions were looked after, but it wasn't because that wasn't the environment. And this is very, very common for children to grow up in, especially Gen X children, Okay, there was a lot of neglect through the 80s and 90s that was just classed as, normal life. A lot of kids spending a lot of time by themselves, unsupervised, not receiving the kind of emotional safety and security that we would like to ideally see for a child's development. And I didn't understand the role of the healthy masculine in a relationship until much later in life. And so as a result, um, I had a lot of relationships that weren't that healthy either. And when I finally understood what the role of the healthy masculine is, I felt as though there was suddenly hope in the world. And I felt like I knew what kind of support I wanted to accept from the universe. And it felt like an incredible relief. It felt like I suddenly realized that there was a possibility that I could take all of this responsibility off of my shoulders, because I suddenly knew that healthy masculine energy was available to me in a way to help me feel really supported, to make me feel as though somebody else has got this, to make me feel as though I could have more freedom and joy and fun and just creativity and just relaxing and slowing down and let somebody else take control, right? And there was so much incredible relief in that. I felt like I had a renewed, um, a renewed hope for mankind, right? It was incredible. And because this is the thing, that the healthy masculine's job is to be the rock, right? The constant, safe, and solid energy, like the rock of Gibraltar, right? That can weather the storm of the emotional feminine. Because females are by nature emotional, right? If we think about it from the mind, the conscious mind is the masculine, right? It's the thinking, it's the planning, it's the goal setting, it's the achievement, it's the action, right? The unconscious mind is the feminine. That's the emotion, that's the feeling, right? That's the creativity, it's the nurturing, it's the receiving. Okay, the masculine is the giving out, the feminine is the receiving. And so if you can relate to, these problems that I was speaking about at the start, I can almost bet that can also struggle to ask for what you want, right? Or to express yourself emotionally. Okay, you might even find that the only time that you really show your emotions is when you're pushed to your absolute limits and then you explode, right? Then you explode. It's like, you don't do this for me and you don't care, and rah, rah, or you might be in tears or whatever it might be. Okay, because when the feminine doesn't feel safe, the feminine's worried about everybody else's emotions rather than their own. And if you end up with a wounded masculine, the wounded masculine will be in their emotions. So everyone will be worried about the masculine being upset, right? Getting angry or being upset or withdrawing or whatever that might be. And that's the wounded energy of the masculine, right? And so if you've grown up around that, you may feel as a feminine that you can't express yourself emotionally. You can't express yourself emotionally. You can't ask for your needs to be met. You can't express how you really feel for fear of feeling like needy or a burden or silly or anything else. But this is the thing that we've got to know, that the masculine's job is to be that rock. It's to create that structure and safe container, that safe space that allows the feminine to be nurturing and to be free and to be creative, right? To be abundant. Whatever you give the feminine, she quadruples, she multiplies. Okay, we know this in procreation, right? The man gives to the woman creates the baby, right? So the man is supposed to hold this safe container, that he gives the energy to the feminine nurtures that and multiplies it, right? Creativity, creation. And so this is what we need to remember. Okay, this is what we need to remember, and this is what we need to be aware of, right? Because the wounded masculine, he'll avoid emotions. Okay, he'll avoid emotions. If you get emotional, he'll withdraw. Um, he'll see that an expression of emotion or request for support, he'll see it as a personal attack on himself, and he'll withdraw. Or he will get emotional himself, get angry and attack or accuse or say, oh, I'm never able to do anything right. It's always my fault. All very emotional and explosive. It's the wounded. He's going into his feminine, right? Wounded masculine. So it's really important that we understand the healthy masculine and the healthy feminine from this perspective, right? That's really important for life and our relationships. And I'm not going to make this all about relationships, but it's important to really understand this. But if you want to go more into understanding the healthy masculine from relationships perspective, I highly recommend. This book was recommended to me by a great friend, but I highly recommend that you get onto a book called The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. I think that's how you say it, Deida. And I highly recommend that you listen to that, whether you're male or female, as the insight I got from that book on what I could expect from the healthy masculine was life-changing for me. It was life-changing for me. It's really made a huge shift in my personal relationship, but it's also led on to me understanding masculine and feminine energy in business. And this is the next level of game changing, my friends. Okay, so I really want you to help you think about this masculine and feminine energy in your business, because often people talk about being a boss babe or a boss woman, and there's the connotations of like hustle and grind that go with being successful in business. But that's all very, very masculine energy, right? And too much of that, and you can easily start to feel that burnout, right? You can start to feel that burnout because it's just grind, hustle, hustle, masculine, right? And burnout, by the way, is a problem of lacking in boundaries. Okay, so when we don't honor the boundaries with ourselves around getting adequate rest, managing expectations, or having too much people pleasing, we can quickly run low on energy and get into this kind of burnout, right? And energy, by the way, right, when we're running low on energy, we need a balance of masculine and feminine energy to continuously create more and more energy, right? So if we're too much in masculine and we're not getting supporting our feminine, we're just going to run out of energy, right? So this is why masculine energy and feminine energy come together, and this doesn't just mean man and woman, right? It's like any kind of relationship. One side of the relationship will be masculine energy, one side of the relationship will be feminine energy, right? Whether that's same-sex couples or heterosexual couples, it doesn't matter. There's always a masculine and feminine, because that's what generates the energy, the attraction, the magnetism in a relationship. Okay, so when it's out of balance, and there's no polarity, well, then it quickly runs out of battery and the battery goes flat. And in relationship perspective, that's when people start going off and having affairs with like the most random people, because they get a spark of energy somewhere, right? And they're just like, oh my God. And then they do all kinds of crazy stuff for that energy. Okay, but anyhow, back to business. It's really important that we understand this masculine and feminine energy in a healthy way within your business. So business doesn't have to be all about masculine energy. Okay, but boundaries, when we think about boundaries, we want to have healthy boundaries. Boundaries are a form of structure. Okay, so you think about boundaries. This room here has got boundaries. The walls are the boundaries of this room. It also creates the structure of this room. And inside of those very strong boundaries and that strong structure, there is a space here where I can be free to move around and do whatever I like. Okay, without fear of the walls falling down or the roof falling in, or anyone just walking in and out as they choose, right? There's boundaries in this structure that create this safe space for me to exist in. Okay, so we're going to think about this in our business as well. So when you use boundaries and systems and structure well in your business, okay, what you do is that you create a safe container for your business to hold you and to give you freedom to express your feminine energy through creativity and flow and nurturing and slowing down and receiving and connection and abundance. Okay, so we need to put those boundaries and systems and structure in place to create that container where your business can hold you. Okay, so if you're running business, you very much want to have very strong system, structure, and boundaries in your business so that you feel held, so that you feel supported, so that you've got the masculine there working for you, not you running around doing all the masculine things. Okay, so without systems and structure and boundaries, you quickly move into hustle, grind, long hours, overwhelm, resentment, and ultimately chaos that leaves you feeling low on energy, constricted, contracted, and fearful of what's going to happen next. Okay, where your next client's going to come from, where your next sort of income's going to come from. Okay, and you become disconnected then from your natural magnetism, right? Feminine is magnetic, and your joy, right? However, if you have systems and structure in place and systems and processes and you document all of your systems, and look, that does take some work to get set up. I appreciate that, but it will pay you off in spades. Okay, so when you've got good systems and structure, you can document how to do things the right way, right? It's not just all in your head, you've got it documented. And then when it's all documented, you can easily outsource it, right? You can easily replicate it, you can easily batch it in a way that makes sure that things are getting done well by others, or that you can automate them, or that things are just, you're having focused attention to get things set up for you in advance. Okay. And when you automate and scale and do these things, then, you've allowing yourself to be looked after. Okay, you're allowing yourself to be looked after by your business rather than your business just being something else that you have to look after. Okay, so this is why there's so many things that we can automate now. We can automate in your business if you've got a coaching business or practitioner, therapist, practice. You can automate your booking. You can automate, lead generation. You can automate your social media scheduling. You can create online courses that have funnels where people, go from your social media or your website and they just get automatically sent emails, downloads, entry to your course. They can do payment gateways online. Like there's so much stuff that can be automated. That means that you don't have to be doing all the time. And you can rest in the being and the creativity so that you can create the offers that you birth out into the world for your clients. And then your systems and structure deliver that for you, right? Like it holds that container for that to happen for you. Okay, so this is really important. I really want you to think about this from the perspective of masculine and feminine energy, because you may have known some of this before. Okay, you may have known some of this before. However, you might not have thought about it from the perspective of masculine and feminine energy. And when you do, it's a game changer. It's like your mind knows this is the truth. It knows that there is a way for you to be held and to be supported, and that's what you can know to deserve, that you deserve. That's what you can know to expect from a business. And then money can come in, right? Money is a masculine energy. So when we are looking at, having a healthy relationship with the masculine, we can have a healthy relationship with money and allow money to come in and support us. Okay, because money is masculine. Money can come in and support us, and we can expect it to support us so that we can, again, be held and supportive and be creative and nurturing and, You know all of the amazing things that you'll do with money, the people that you'll help, the experiences that you have, the way that you'll be able to nurture yourself and be looked after so that you can, birth and create more amazing things in the world. Okay, so since learning this way of thinking and understanding the natural energies and utilizing them, for me, I feel such a greater sense of ease and enjoyment in all areas of life and business, right? And it continues to grow and thrive as I move into this space. And, I love having fun. Like for me, I love having fun. And if my business isn't set up in a way that gives me that space to have fun and be creative, like I start getting into a place where I don't enjoy life. And really, having a business, the whole purpose of having a business is so that you've got control over your own life, right? So we've got to set it up that way. So, really, I encourage you to take from this the importance of you setting up systems and structures for yourself, automation, right? Creating boundaries for yourself and allowing yourself to be in that natural feminine state of flow and creativity and nurturing and slowing down and receiving abundance, because that is your natural birthright. And when you get into that space, you're going to find life is just so much more enjoyable. Okay, so my question for you is, are you ready to let go of the hustle and make burnout a thing of the past? Right? Is that it's done. You don't need to do that anymore. Okay, so what can you start thinking about differently in your business now? And what can you implement to give more structure in your business so that you can feel more creative, expressive, nurturing, and open to receiving more support and abundance? Okay. And the answer to this is to make things as simple as possible. Look at your office suite, make sure you've got a really simple you know, value ladder so that where people come in, it's easy for them to come in and work their way through your office suite. You've got one message, you're talking to one type of client, you've got one sort of timeline of where they come through and work with you. And then it's very easy to set up the automation. Your marketing message is going to be easy, how people come in, what they know you for, everything becomes really easy. You can set up those systems and structures to support that and give yourself some freedom. I hope you've enjoyed this today. And I'm wishing you all the positive energy for you to just to go and just be.